Right, I just wanted to come back to you before I finished the first side of the neck shaping. What you will create, I don't know if you can, whoops, there goes my little mouse. I don't know if you can see like there's a slight sort of stepped effect going on, and that's what you will create with the casting off in little blocks of 8 as you work that. Because I've got so few stitches, I haven't done as many rows as you'll do or whatever, but again, it is really just that technique of casting off some and working the rest in pattern, so you should be fine with that. So you will have 10 stitches left to cast off. I've just got 3 here, so I'm just going to cast them off. That's 1, 2, and now I've got the third one, and all I'm going to do, whoops, there goes my little stitch markers. I'm just going to cut the yarn and pull that through. Okay. I don't know whether we should have left that long. Don't worry if we've got plenty of yarn to be able to sew up. So if you look, like I said, you can just sort of see that stepped effect, and yours is going to be a little bit more pronounced because you're going to have more rows. Tuck that down out of the way, and you will see it then comes down into this shape of the neck. Okay, so you'll have the slight slant of the shoulder coming down, the step down into this lovely neck, sort of slight curve into the neck, which is really beautiful. And now all the other stitches left to work on the other side. Your stitches, you've got a really long cable, of course, and you're going to have far more stitches, but you'll still have plenty of needle and cable left to be able to keep those stitches on there. If it bothers you, put them on waste yarn, but it should be fine, I think. Right, so that's our first side of the neck shaping. Just want to reiterate, obviously there's many fewer stitches on here as you will have. Really doesn't matter, it's the technique that is important. Partially casting off, working in pattern, partially casting off, and so on and so on. That is the important thing, and I think we've covered that in the video. So we're now on to second side of neck shaping. And what we've got to do is we've got to rejoin the yarn, and it says with right side facing, rejoin the yarn. There's nothing really spectacular about rejoining the yarn. I just put it over the end of the needle. That's all I do. If you do something different, do let me know, because you're probably far more experienced than I am. Right, the thing to remember here is where we are in this pattern. Okay, where we are in this pattern, and it is a really good question because we carried on our pattern over this side, but we stalled it, we paused it over on this side after we had done row 2. Okay, so we're now on row 3 again. Okay, I hope that makes sense. We worked one way, then the other, and then we cast off and abandoned these stitches. So we've only actually worked 2 rows of repeat on this side of our pattern. So we've got to pick up where we left off, which is on row 3 of the chart. Okay, and we're going to rejoin our yarn. I've surprised myself by knowing that there. Can you tell? So rejoin the yarn to the 42 stitches. You'll have 42 stitches, and we're going to pattern together. Again, cannot stress enough how helpful it is to have this little marker of a repeat here, because you can see that I know I've got 3 stitches left before the end of a repeat. All right, so I know here I should be doing, I can't actually even see it, I should be doing purl, knit, purl. So I've got 3 stitches before the end of the repeat, a purl, a knit, a purl, and that does work beautifully with my pattern. So that works out very well. So again, cannot stress enough how important these little markers are, to me personally anyway. Right, so I've got a pattern 2 together, and because I need to be left with a knit stitch, that means I'm going to knit 2 together, which is so helpful. So here I go rejoining the yarn. When it says rejoin the yarn before you've done anything, you can't really, you've got to actually get on and do it, haven't you? So I'm going to knit 2 together, just put that loop over, and now my yarn is joined. Okay, it's going to be a little bit loose, but only until you sew that end in. That's absolutely fine. So pattern 2 together and pattern to the last stitch, pattern to the last 2 stitches. So we know what that means. It means we're just going to work in our pattern all the way across. So I know that I've done, I'm on this stitch, this knit stitch is sat here on my needle, already worked. So now I know I've got to do a purl. And then I'm going to work in pattern across my row 3 all the way to the end of, oh sorry, all the way until I've got 2 stitches left on my needle. Okay, and that is me now. I've got 2 stitches left. Obviously you're going to take a bit longer because you've got more stitches on yours. And I'm going to pattern 2 together on the last stitch here. So my last stitch is going to be a purl. So I've got to purl those 2 together. Yours might be different, yours might be a knit, but you know what to look for, don't you? So that's absolutely fine. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you on here really, because it's just like getting the yarn reattached and making sure you know where you are in your pattern. And then I will proceed on the second side of the next shaping as I have sort of throughout really, which is casting off as I'm told to cast off, remembering how to count your stitches, remembering to count that one that's left on the needle, etc, etc. So I will just finish off the neck shaping and we'll see what it looks like at the end. Okay, so when I look at this little piece that I've done, you can see a shape, you can see the stepped shape on the shoulders, just about. Yours is going to be much easier to sort of pick that out, and you can see this curve of the back of the neck. Ignore those, it's not a halter neck. No, it looks nice, doesn't it? The nice little curve, which is the back of the neck. So that is the back piece. I'm sorry I shut myself up rather abruptly there. I did it on purpose because I was going on and on about the front shaping, and that's for the next video.